Arapaima is considered one of the largest freshwater fish on the planet. Living mainly in the Amazon River basin and some regions of South America. Catching them is an arduous process, requiring experience, skills and courage of fishermen. When the water level rises, giant arapaimas over 2 meters long, weighing hundreds of kilograms, often appear in wide river sections. Moving slowly but powerfully, indigenous people have long developed many methods to hunt this fish. The most popular of which are using large nets or fishing with special iron hooks. When hunting, fishermen often row dugout canoes, quietly approach, and wait for the right moment for the fish to rise to the surface of the water to breathe, because arapaimas have a special habit of frequently rising to get oxygen directly from the air. Just 1 minute of carelessness, their strong flapping can capsize the whole boat, when the fish are hooked or caught in the net.
Palitinho. Entendeu? Joga pra cá, Felipe. Meu Deus. Tá enchendo.
The fishermen must join forces to pull them up, using wooden sticks and spears to control them. Sometimes the struggle lasts for hours before they can be defeated. After being brought ashore, the fish will be butchered on the spot because of their large size. Transporting the whole fish is almost impossible. First, the fishermen use a sharp knife to cut off the head and tail, then cut along the spine to separate the fresh shred meat blocks dozens of centimeters thick. The skin of the arapaima is very thick and hard, often used as a craft material or dried. The fish meat is cut into large pieces, then chopped into smaller pieces for easy preservation. Can be salted, dried or smoked according to tradition. The internal organs are also processed separately. Some edible parts will be kept. The rest will be discarded or used as bait. The strong fishy smell mixed with the sound of knives chopping and meat cutting makes the scene of fish cutting both fierce and full of the spirit of working for a living.
Ele ainda tá vivo.
Giant pink white pieces of meat are piled on wooden planks, ready to be brought to the market or exchanged with traders. For the people of the Amazon region, hunting and butchering arowana is not only a way to earn a living but also a part of tradition, reflecting the long-standing attachment of people to the river and this legendary fish. After the arowana has been butchered into large pieces, people often share it right on the riverbank. One part for family meals, the other to trade or exchange goods. Transporting these giant pieces of meat is also a challenge, because each fillet can weigh up to tens of kilograms, and must be carried by bamboo baskets or wooden boats. Arowana meat is considered to be rich in nutrients, with firm fibers, few small bones, and easy to process into many dishes. From grilling, stewing, making soup to drying for storage. In remote villages in the forest, people often hang pieces of meat on the kitchen ceiling, smoke them for many days to preserve them for a long time. The smell of smoke permeates the meat, creating a very unique flavor. The process of cutting the fish also requires skill, because just a little carelessness, the wrong knife cuts can ruin a large piece of meat, causing waste. For experienced fishermen, each chop, each incision is decisive and neat. making the division of meat quick and effective. In addition, the spine and the scraps of the fish are often not thrown away, but are used to make soup or feed livestock. Sometimes, the scene of cutting the sea elephant fish attracts a large crowd of people in the area to gather to watch. Curious children stand around to observe, while adults help transport. Clean and package each part. That bustling atmosphere both evokes excitement and contains a sense of accomplishment after an arduous hunting journey. In the river markets, when the meat of the Arapaima is sold, the red meat and white fat always attract attention, becoming a commodity with high economic value. Many traders are willing to pay high prices to buy and distribute to other areas. Therefore, each successful catch, the whole family or even the whole community has a large source of profit, contributing to improving the life that depends on harsh nature. In addition to the economic value of meat, Arapaima also brings many other benefits. The thick, hard skin like a layer of armor is dried by people and used as raw materials to make handicrafts or daily items. Some skillful hunters also take advantage of the fish skin to make drum covers, ropes or shields thanks to its durability. The giant scales are as big as an adult's hand, hard and shiny, carefully collected. Many places consider it a decoration or lucky charm, even used to sharpen fingernails and knives. The fish heads, after being separated, are often used to make broth or dried for medicinal purposes according to traditional experience. Every part of the fish is used to the fullest, rarely discarded. Because fishermen understand the great value of a giant walrus, the process of cutting the fish is not only manual labor, but also a symbol of solidarity. Because many times it takes a group of people to process the huge amount of meat. Strong men hold knives, chopping each stroke decisively, while women and children take care of cleaning, sorting and drying. The scene evokes a picture of community life imbued with the essence of rivers, where people and nature are closely connected. For many people in the Amazon region, hunting and butchering Arapaima is not simply a livelihood activity, but also a traditional ritual. Every time they catch a large fish, they consider it a gift from the river, often holding communal parties, enjoying it together and thanking nature. The presence of this giant fish has nurtured many generations, becoming a part of unique memories and culture. However, overhunting also poses a risk of decreasing Arapaima populations, making them a concern for many conservation organizations today. But in the memories of indigenous people, the images of fierce struggles and giant butchering on the riverbank are always an unforgettable part. When the butchering process is finished, the Arapaima meat is divided into small portions suitable for use. The best parts are usually the two fillets running along the fish's body, with thick and smooth fibers. which are of the highest value when sold or processed. Local people often use them immediately to cook traditional dishes, such as grilling them over hot coals, stewing them with Amazonian spices, or cooking them with wild vegetables picked from the river. The rich, fatty flavor of the giant fish meat makes the meal a special occasion, both nutritious and sacred because it is considered a gift from heaven. The remaining meat is preserved in many ways, soaked in salt and then dried in the sun, hung over the kitchen to smoke, or marinated with spices to store for many months. This method ensures a long-term food source for the family, especially during the rainy season when hunting becomes difficult. Some parts of the fish meat are wrapped in banana leaves or put in baskets to bring to the river market, where traders gather to exchange goods. There, the meat of the giant fish is always a popular item, because there are few freshwater fish species that produce such a large quantity and quality of meat. The sight of fishermen loading giant chunks of meat onto boats and transporting them to villages along the river creates a bustling, festive atmosphere. Children run after them, cheering. Adults talk about the size and weight of the fish they have just caught, everyone eagerly waiting for their portion. For many families, having a few kilos of sea elephant meat means ensuring a full meal for many days. Thus, from the time of hunting to butchering and dividing, sea elephant not only brings great material benefits but also serves as a bond between the community, deepening the relationship between people and the river that has nourished them for generations. Through each generation, the skill of catching and butchering sea elephant has been passed down as a valuable asset in the life of the community. The elderly tell their children and grandchildren great stories about dangerous hunting trips. Where a giant fish can overturn a dugout canoe. Valuable experiences such as how to observe the water flow to know where fish often come up to breathe, how to set a hook with a large iron hook, or how to coordinate with many people to avoid being dragged down the river by the giant fish all become lessons for survival. The scene of cutting up the fish is also symbolic. When the fish lies motionless on the shore, the decisive knife cuts divide the giant body into parts to feed the whole community. The fish's blood spreads red on the river sand. The sound of the knife slashing, the shouts calling for each other to help, all blend into a sound that is both fierce and full of joy of the results of labor. After the meat and skin are divided, what remains on the sand is only a giant pale white skeleton, as a testament to the harshness but also the generosity of nature. For the Amazon people, Stingrays are flat-shaped marine fish with a soft body but possessing hidden strength and often living in tropical or subtropical seas, especially where the continental shelf is rich in food sources. Stingray fishing has long been an important part of the lives of coastal fishermen, not only providing a source of food rich in nutritional value but also bringing in a significant source of income. The process of catching stingrays often requires patience, technique as well as appropriate means. Normally, fishermen use gill nets, bottom trawls or hooks to catch stingrays. Because this fish has the habit of lying close to the seabed, burying itself under the sand to hide and hunt. When using a gill net, fishermen cast a long net on the water surface and then gradually lower it to cover the bottom area, where stingrays often move. This method is laborious but highly effective because it can catch even giant stingrays. With bottom trawling, the boat moves slowly, dragging a wide net along the seabed, drawing in many bottom-dwelling fish, including stingrays. Some other fishermen choose the fishing method, using large iron hooks with small fish or squid bait to them. When the stingray bites the hook, it takes a strong pull to bring them up from the water, because adults can weigh tens or even hundreds of kilograms. After being caught, the stingrays are often brought onto the deck of the boat and butchered on the spot if the trip is long to avoid damage. The body of the stingray is flat and wide. The skin is thick and slippery. Butchering requires a sharp knife and skillful skills. The worker often turns the fish over, makes a vertical cut from the head to the tail, separates the meat on both sides of the wings and the thick part in the middle. The stingray meat is pinkish white, tough but sweet, and is popular for preparing many dishes such as grilling. Stir-frying, steaming or drying. Some species of stingrays contain toxins in their tails, so when handling them, you have to be careful, cutting off the sharp stinger first and then cutting the meat. This process is not only labor-intensive but also demonstrates the experience and ingenuity accumulated through many generations of fishermen. After being processed, stingrays are often preserved with ice or salt to keep them fresh before being brought ashore for consumption. Many fishing ports are bustling with fishermen every early morning carrying stingrays from their boats to the market, weighing them for sale to traders or seafood restaurants. The economic value of stingrays lies not only in their meat but also in their skin and cartilage, which are used in leatherwork or as ingredients in medicine. Stingray fishing reflects the close relationship between humans and the sea, where fishermen take advantage of traditional knowledge combined with modern means to exploit natural resources. However, due to increasing demand, some rare species of stingrays are at risk of being depleted. So many countries have issued regulations on minimum sizes allowed to be caught, prohibited fishing seasons as well as encouraging fishermen to apply sustainable measures. The image of giant stingrays being pulled from the sea is both impressive and reminds of the hard work of fishermen, and at the same time reflects the great value that the sea bestows on humans. This is a hard job, heavily dependent on nature, but is the pride of many generations who depend on the sea for their livelihood. Stingray fishing is not only manual labor but also an art, requiring fishermen to understand the biological habits of this fish species. Stingrays often move at night to hunt, and during the day they hide under the sand or mud on the seabed. So determining the time to drop the net or go fishing has a great influence on productivity. Experienced fishermen often choose low tide, when the tide is low, to deploy trawls or gill nets, because at that time the rays often leave their hiding places to find food. In addition, they also rely on the color of the water, the current, and even the hunting habits of small fish to judge the presence of rays in the area. Once the rays have been caught, the processing process also brings a lot of valuable experience. People often separate the white meat in the wings, the cartilage in the middle and the liver. Stingray meat is chewy and crispy. When grilled on charcoal it gives off an attractive aroma. And the ray liver is an ingredient for many high-class dishes. Some coastal areas also have the custom of drying stingrays in the sun, then slicing them thinly, grilling them, and serving them with spicy spices, becoming a local specialty. Stingray skin with its tiny spines is processed and polished to become valuable handicraft materials, from leather wallets, belts to sword sheaths. Meanwhile, the thick cartilage is stewed as an ingredient for soups or used in traditional medicine. Each part of the stingray has its own value, contributing to increasing fishermen's income. However, along with economic benefits come huge challenges. Many times fishermen are in danger when handling live stingrays, because the sharp stinger in the tail can cause deep and painful wounds, and some species even carry dangerous toxins. In addition, trawling in deep-sea areas, far from shore, has many potential risks from big waves and strong winds, broken equipment to the risk of resource depletion if overexploited. Therefore, today many fishing communities have switched to a controlled fishing model. Using large mesh nets to let young fish escape, regulating maximum yields per trip, and combining aquaculture to reduce pressure on wild stingray populations. The image of boats loaded with stingrays arriving at the port early in the morning, mixed with the laughter, weighing and bargaining of traders, is proof of the sustainable livelihood cycle of coastal people. Stingray fishing is not only a profession but also a story of harmony between humans and the ocean, where each wave, each stream of fish is associated with the hope, effort and aspiration to maintain the source of life for many generations to come. Like many other traditional fishing occupations, stingray fishing also clearly reflects the cultural life of coastal fishing communities. Many fishing villages have long formed their own customs associated with the stingray season. When the season comes, the whole village is often busy preparing fishing gear. Repairing boats, and storing food to get ready for long offshore trips. The elderly pass on their experiences. The young learn and participate together, creating a strong bond between generations. Stories about giant stingrays that have been pulled up, about the dangers of encounters with stingrays, or the joy when boats return full of spoils are always told and retold as part of the community's common memory. In some places, stingrays also have spiritual significance, associated with the worship of the sea god, because fishermen believe that this animal is the embodiment of luck if they catch it on long trips. After returning to shore, The scene of cutting up stingrays also leaves many special impressions. The giant fish was placed on the fishing wharf. Many people participated in cutting, washing, and dividing the meat. Large blocks of meat were neatly arranged. Some were sent to the retail market. Some were salted and dried. And the rest were sent directly to restaurants. That bustling, hurried working atmosphere not only brought income but also created a bond between people and the ocean. However, stingray fishing still faces many challenges in modern times. Climate change has caused the habitat of stingrays to shrink, and resources are no longer as abundant as before. In addition, large-scale trawling, if not controlled, can easily damage the marine ecosystem, destroying grass beds, corals, and the breeding grounds of many aquatic species. Therefore, many marine conservation organizations have issued warnings, calling for a balance between exploitation and protection, and encouraging fishermen to apply new, less harmful techniques. Despite many difficulties, stingray fishing still exists. Because it is not only a source of livelihood but also a tradition and pride of fishermen. Each sea trip, each net heavy with stingrays pulled up from the deep bottom is a testament to the resilience and intelligence of people in the journey to conquer the vast ocean. In addition to its food and economic value, stingrays are also associated with culinary creativity in many regions. Stingray meat is considered a flexible ingredient, which can be processed into countless special dishes. From rustic dishes of fishermen to high-class dishes in luxury restaurants. In coastal areas, charcoal grilled stingray is the most popular dish. The pinkish-white meat is marinated with salt and chili, grilled until golden brown, giving off an attractive aroma. In some places, stingrays are also cooked with vinegar, sour soup, combined with pineapple, tomatoes and herbs. Creating a cool, refreshing flavor on hot summer days. Other dishes such as beer-steamed stingray, tamarind-sauced stingray, and stir-fried stingray are also popular, both retaining the natural sweetness and enriching the seafood menu. In particular, dried stingray after being dried in the sun for many days will have a rich flavor. When grilled and shredded and dipped in sweet and sour tamarind fish sauce, it becomes a favorite snack. This makes the demand for stingray consumption constantly increase, creating motivation for the fishing industry to develop. However, that attraction also leads to overexploitation, causing many species of large stingrays to gradually become rare. Scientists have repeatedly warned that some species of stingrays are vulnerable and need urgent conservation. Therefore, in addition to tightening regulations, many countries also encourage fishermen to switch to raising stingrays in artificial environments. both to meet market demand and to protect wild populations. In fact, raising stingrays requires high technology and high costs, but opens up a sustainable direction in the future. Whether by fishing or farming, stingrays still hold a special place in human life. From culinary, economic to spiritual and cultural values, the image of giant stingrays being pulled onto the deck of a ship, their bodies as flat and wide as sails, flapping for a brief moment, always leaves a strong impression, both showing the majesty of the ocean and reminding people of their responsibility to preserve this precious resource. A closer look at stingray fishing reveals a clear fusion of tradition and modernity. In the past, fishermen relied mainly on small wooden boats, using human power to cast nets and pull in fish. This strenuous work often lasted for hours, even days, at sea. But today, with the development of technology, many fishing boats have been equipped with positioning devices, fish detecting sonar, and modern net systems that help accurately determine the concentration areas of stingrays. Thanks to this, fishing efficiency has been improved, reducing the fishermen's efforts. However, this change also raises